Hi, my name is Ella Glassman. I am the creator of The Art of Applying, which is my Girl Scout Gold Award. I am here with.
Hi, I'm Elliott Scher, and I'm an Admission and Student Services Officer at the USC Gloria Kaufman School of Dance.
All right, I'm just going to ask a few questions about the
Sure.
admissions process.
Okay.
So my first question is, how are students applying to an arts program at your school evaluated differently from students applying to other academic programs?
Yeah, sure. Well, in our program specifically, we work hand in hand with our admissions office. So you have to be accepted into USC academically, as well as for our dance department specifically. So we are looking not only at your academic profile, but also your artistic portfolio that you would submit to Kaufman.
All right. What skill set do you hope to see from an applicant?
Yeah, absolutely. So with our students, we're looking for students who are really curious about the world. They have a strong academic background, and they technically excel in dance. You don't have to be the best dancer in the world, but a general knowledge of dance and some training in core techniques is pretty vital to be considered an applicant. And overall, like just a really fantastic portfolio submission that shows a genuine interest in our program and also about the school at large, and that you have interests outside of dance and how you're going to use your entire experience at USC and really integrate it into what you are hoping to do as an artist and a scholar.
All right. Do you have any suggestions for students interested in pursuing an education if their public school does not offer classes in their field?
Yeah, absolutely. As much as you can be taking class, like outside school, if that's something you want to do, like go for it. Really, like I always encourage students. I know like going into the arts can be competitive and difficult, but at the end of the day, if that's what you really want to do, I would strongly advocate you like doing your very best to integrate into one of those programs. There's a lot of things you can do with an arts degree that are kind of outside just performing. And so those skills that you learn in college are going to be really invaluable to what you want to do later down the line as a working professional.
So we often hear that arts programs are looking for a student's creative voice or creative vision in their artist statement. How would you define this personal voice?
Well, I would say that's exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for your personal voice. How have all these collective experiences over your high school and possibly even middle school, how have they shaped you as an artist? And what do you think about dance and the future of dance specifically? That's very interesting to us to just have a small glimpse into that person and what they hope to be later down the line. Like that can definitely change over the course of your 4 years at college. But we look for people with a strong point of view. So anything you can do in your application to reflect that is super key.
All right. Um, what makes a creative portfolio stand out to you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's my favorite portfolios that I see are people who are risk takers. So they're students who are doing things that really allow them to express themselves as an individual, and also things that allow them to be fun and playful and really play around with the material. That's always a huge plus. At the same time, showing their technical skills. Like if you can blend that, that's really going to set you ahead of the pack.
Okay, interesting. Um, how important are grades and test scores compared to the creative portfolio?
So what I will say is they're equally weighted. Because we work with our Office of Admission, particularly at USC, those academics have to be extraordinarily strong. And it's different depending on what school you're going to go to, what the minimum what your minimum GPA would be or what your minimum test scores would be. At USC, we don't require test scores. You don't have to have a perfect GPA, but we at USC make sure that our students are going to be able to succeed in the academic classes because they are quite challenging.
Okay. Um, do you prefer to see students who have demonstrated a singular focus in terms of their extracurriculars, or would you like to see someone who has a diverse range of extracurriculars with some experience in their chosen field?
Yeah, I mean, so we do look at extracurriculars, but they're not really the sole like they're not the sole thing we're looking for because certain students have access to different resources, obviously. So whether or not you've danced like over the summer at an intensive or not, or you have had professional experiences performing on stage, that's not really vital to uh, the application, or it's not going to incentivize us to grant you admission. It's more so about what is included, like in the portfolio and the statement, and what you're doing now at the current moment, and what you think about dance, rather than kind of all these extracurricular things. Also, we're looking at your training overall. Like, you don't have to be perfect in one area. Our core areas of focus at Kaufman are ballet, hip hop, and contempt. But we have artists who are excellent ballet technicians, and they might come in and for auditions. Like, this is their first hip hop class they've taken, and they eventually wind up joining our program. And the same is true for hip hop artists who might not have a lot of ballet experience. So we're looking at that wide range of techniques across the board. So really your ability to adapt to classes and corrections is also super important. And those extracurriculars, they're great, but they're by no means like 100% what we're looking for.
Interesting. Okay. Thank you. Um, what type of student do you think would be most successful at USC?
So students who are really successful at USC demonstrate a strong academic aptitude. They are really driven. They are passionate about the arts. They're passionate about their community, and the dance community specifically. And we're really looking for students who are creative, who want to be boundary pushers. We use the term skill artists a lot because we are combining that academic background with the arts. We're also looking a lot at our school for artists who are super hybrid. So how you're translating movement across various techniques, hip hop, ballet, and contemporary, and how you're thinking about fusing those styles together. And we also are interested in students who are interested in kind of the historical context of dance.
Okay. Do you place much weight on students filling their high school schedules with rigorous academic courses, or do you prefer to see students take more arts-related classes that are not considered to be as academically rigorous?
Yeah, so that's a hard question to answer. It's really, we look for just a broad range. So having a lot of AP courses is great. But again, it's not like the sole thing that's going to help you set you apart from the rest of the students. Certainly being academically competitive is super important. And as I said before, like, being able to keep up in our classes is going to be important. We want to make sure you're at a certain threshold. But essentially having a bunch of AP credits on your transcript is great, but it's not the sole factor in our decision.
Interesting. How important is the interview or audition process?
It's extremely important. So at Kaufman specifically, there are two portions. So there is a portfolio required. Once that portfolio is submitted to us, we work with the Office of Admissions. And about 25% of those applicants move on to round two, which is the actual live audition. The live audition is a full day. So you take a full day of classes. You also will present a solo and interview. And these are all like weighted equally, essentially. And then we make our final decisions, and then we work with our Office of Admission to decide our final candidates. So kind of every component is extraordinarily important. And you'll submit a general application for USC. Our application goes hand in hand with it. So you're essentially completing two parts that are weighted equally.
All right. And my last question, do you have any advice for students who are creating or selecting their submissions for their portfolio?
I'm sorry, one more time. I lost you.
Oh, what advice do you have for students in creating or selecting their submissions for their portfolio pieces?
Yeah, so in our portfolio specifically, we're looking for two contrasting solos. So whatever that means to you, it could be two hip hop pieces, for example. It could be a ballet piece and a hip hop piece. It could be two contemporary pieces. And the difference would be a change in dynamics, a change in emotion, a change in the shape of the movement itself. So as much as like don't assume that you know what we're looking for, because we want to be surprised and we want to see you, and we want to see that passion that you have through dance resonate through your material.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, Ella.